Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Pisces April 2022 predictions. I'm Nigel Saint James, for those of you who are stopping by for the first time. This Queen of Staves has jumped out, so we shall take her. You might guess that I've done a lot of readings, one-on-one private readings for Pisceans over the last few weeks. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one clairvoyant reading with me, just check out the information in the description box below. Now, this deck is Sacred India Tarot. It's very difficult, apparently, these days to even get hold of. Here's whatever this is. Six of Lotuses. Oh, what a fantastic energy behind that. You can see that I don't do riffle shuffling or throwing everything around and smashing cards together. I just do the overhand shuffling like this. And actually, when I sit down with clients and they are doing the shuffling, which I have them if I'm doing it sitting next to me, then I ask that they do the same as well. The reason being is that I don't ever replace decks. What I do is I let the energy of all the people who have been read, and I've done thousands and thousands of people, using a number of different decks. But the energy retains within, the energy is cleansed before each person's reading. But what happens is, in a way, the cards get used to having psychic energy channeled through them and psychic messages channeled through them, if I can put it that way. Does that make sense? The actual process is one which is difficult for me to put into language, but suffice it to say that there is a reason why I don't replace decks, and that if a deck gets into a stage where it needs to be replaced, then it isn't replaced. This has come out, and this is, for you, the Lovers. And that's in the center there. What a couple of lovely lovers they are as well. Now, the Hindu mythology is obviously going to be part of this as well. I've been a student of Hindu theology and mythology for, longer than I can remember now. I'm not a Hindu myself, but I love the works. In fact, I love sacred works from all different religions. I love the book of Genesis from the Hebrew Bible. I love the Gospel of John. I love the Vedas, the Upanishads. The Bhagavad Gita is beautiful, where the Lord Krishna is in battle. And just read chapter 7, and you don't even have to, just glance over it, because the Lord Krishna very poetically sets, not in poetry, but sets out the attributes of himself as the incarnation of the Supreme Being. See, not many people know that Hinduism actually says that there is one God, and that all the other gods with small g's are just avatars, if you like, or aspects of, some of the aspects of the unlimited aspects contained within the divinity. Wait, let's finish these off now. I won't go into any further discussions of, there's the Page of Staves, any discussions of philosophy or theology. Let's have a look. What's this? Is that upside down? The King of Arrows. There you go. Well, my dear Pisces, come and sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Well, we have a major arcana right in the center, so let's get to that. And it is, let me just see who it is. This Hindu mythology deck here, which I know that you will enjoy because it's fascinating. Now, this is the Lovers. Well, who have we got here? Well, it's Kika and Davyani. Now, Kika was the son of Brishapati, guru of the Devas or gods. Devyani was the daughter of Shukracharya, who was guru of the anti-gods or demons. Now, they came together briefly as Kika, as the guy, sought a secret from Shukracharya that would save the Devas. The Devas, that is the good guys, were not originally immortal. but divinities who enjoyed long lives. They were periodically replenished by virtuous humans who ascended to deva status in their stead. Now, in conflicts with the asuras, the bad guys, both devas and asuras lost lots and lots of people. Well, not of people, but lost lots of their numbers. But Shukracharya possessed the knowledge of resurrection, so the devas steadily lost ground and numbers and were facing a terrible defeat besides a steady extinction. Now, Kaka was sent to charm this knowledge from Shukracharya, which he did, because Shukracharya was not immune to the flattery of having his great rival's son study underneath him. So good gets to triumph. Now, the astrology of this energy here is that of Mercury ruling Gemini with Dragon's Head, or the north node of the moon, exalted. The meaning of this card really centers around the reconciliation of opposites here. Now, there is, of course, a great degree of possibility for romantic and sexual liaison, I've got to say, with the lovers. And there's no doubt here that these people represent a great affection for one another, and young people being as they are, things generally lead in a certain direction. But there will be a need for you to look at all angles before making a decision. You might find that you are called upon to be a mediator or a peacemaker in situations involving arguments about people around you. You need to look at harmony in relationships. But I also think that you're going to make a major life choice on the direction ahead of you. Now, it may not seem that it's a major life choice at the time, but when you look back, you'll just say, it has been. Now, as I say, there can also be a mutual attraction and sexual connection here, but this is a major arcana card, so I'd be very surprised if it was a casual relationship or a one-night stand. I think it's something that could well go a lot further than that. This is talking about attraction, approaching people, connection, union of opposites through love, becoming conscious through relationship, choices, partnerships, almost being at the crossroads of something. It may well be that you're going into a project with some other people. This could be something at work, or it could be something that you're doing by yourself. And there is really the serious possibility of falling in love here, or falling even deeper in love with someone where you have a committed relationship. You may well hear of someone getting engaged to get married as well. Now, drawing this card can indicate a wonderful and exciting love relationship here. Current relationships, though, and I've got to say this also, because I always tell you the truth, it could well be that some relationships end when this happens. Now, new methods for personal growth and integration of your own opposing aspects present themselves as you turn towards and interact with a partner or a close friend. What do you seek in the people you love? What comprises a fulfilling relationship for you? Say this to yourself: I enjoy working with people of all ages. I have inherent people skills. I am emotionally sure about what I need or don't need, about what I want or don't want in a relationship. And I am now ready to meet the partner that I have always longed to meet. Now, I'm not surprised in that context that this card has turned up for you. This is the Six of Cups. And who is this sitting here? Now, this is Parvati. Parvati goes on to marry the god Shiva. You know, there are, in the Hindu there are thousands of avatars of the supreme god in Hinduism. But three major avatars are Brahma, the creator god, Vishnu, the sustainer or preserver god, and Shiva, the destroyer, or the renewer god. Well, Parvati goes on to marry Shiva in due course, but at this stage she hasn't. In fact, what's happened? I won't go into the backstory, but put it this way, whatever promising aspect there was going to be at one moment, he's lost interest in her. And she is now seeking to find out how she might conjure up some interest in the god herself. So Parvati decides to win Shiva's love by using his own skills. Now, her beauty failed to move him, except momentarily, as I mentioned. But then the situation began to deteriorate. Shiva, however, cannot resist the penance and spiritual merit of a bhakta. Now, bhakta is like a very deep, long meditation. Now, if her beauty, and series of meditations, I might add, now, if her beauty will not suffice, she will accumulate so much spiritual merit that the reward will be his offer of marriage. Now, only in India, I suppose, is it possible to dictate terms to God in this way. The process is called tapasya. And it is a grueling series of spiritual practices that literally sears away the negative karma obstructing your goal. Parvati performs the most intense tapasya that's been known to the gods or to people. Her discomforted mother thinks that this is just childishness and petulance by Parvati. But it is actually a level of trust, love, and breathtaking confidence possible only for children. Well, I suppose even the Jesus said, "Except you become as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven." This is the sun ruling the second decan of Scorpio, and this got a number 6 down here. Well, I have a mystical association with the number 6 and the sun as well, so there's a double solar influence here. So you've got the sun ruling the second decan of Scorpio. Now, what's this speaking to me of? I'll be frank, it's speaking about lust, enjoyment, pleasure in sexual relationships. You might even just take pleasure in fantasy, in your fantasy life, and that's something right there. There's no problem with that. There's a rich exchange of sexual and heart energy and an emotional renewal, pleasure, indulgence, sexual pleasure and excitement here. Family support. But the pleasure that I see here is a kind of pleasure which is completely harmonized. Now, the zodiac sign governing this card, as I say here, is Scorpio, as far as I'm concerned. And Scorpio in this position. Well, here, pleasure is rooted in its most convenient soil, isn't it, in Scorpio? And this is a preeminently fertile card, and frankly, from where I stand, it's one of the best in the deck. Now, unashamedly, the emphasis on this energy here is that of sexuality, but not uncontrolled. It's not an uncontrolled sexuality. And it's also, I think, about a pleasure which has been experienced after much hardship. Maybe because of the very serene scene that we have here too, I think you might also be undergoing a period of healing and transformation, but the emphasis is on a relationship or the desire to have a relationship that will improve both individuals, where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So enjoy now all which life gives you. This is the best way to express your gratitude. Are you holding on to old beliefs which prevent your enjoyment of pleasure? Get rid of them, if that's the case. Enjoy your own emotional wealth and share it with someone else. And say to yourself, if you're not in a committed relationship, I am now open to a partner with whom I can share the joys of love on all levels. Well then, that should keep you pretty well occupied by the sounds of it, and happily so. Let's have a look at this. What is this? What a great scene. Oh, I think I know what this is. Let's have a look at it. You're going to enjoy this too. Isn't this fun? I think it is. Bathed in light, these two guys up here, these divine creatures, they are the twin hero gods of the Vedas, commonly mistaken as forerunners of the physicians of the gods. They actually heal the dread disease of karma, facilitating entry into the light. They are the guardians of the gateway, the threshold of the consciousness between mortal limitations and the divine consciousness. Now here they are shown rescuing a great sage. Now I don't think that guy's name was ever spoken about in the hymns of the Indian works. But anyway, they're saving this great sage from a great flood. Now, strangely, they stay invisible, sending a floating log or a sacrifice post first, until the holy man realizes who is providentially saving him. And heeding his grateful pleadings, they then arrive to scoop him out of trouble, and then they teach him the knowledge required to replenish the land when it gets dry. Now, I would be very surprised if Leo, Virgo, and Cancer are not important to you at this time here. This is speaking to me of somebody. Now, I don't know what the sex is here, but I'm thinking of a woman, a young woman. But of course, these court cards can be of either gender. But somebody who is a person that is willing to take hold of and engage and devour any passion of whatever kind. This really is a theme, isn't it, here for you? Really a passion of any kind, and entirely reckless to the means of obtaining gratification. Somebody who almost is insatiable, I have to say here. Now, the character of this person, now maybe you, or it might be someone that you know. Now, the character of this person is extremely individual. I'll call her a she. She creates her own beauty by her essential vigor and energy. She bedazzles. Now, in anger or in love, it could well be you. She is sudden, violent, and implacable. She's ambitious and sometimes irrationally enthusiastic about people or projects, but she never forgets an injury made to her. And the only patience to be found in her is the patience with which she lies in ambush, waiting for her enemy to appear so she can spring her ambush. I think this is a time when you really are genuinely being freed from fear. This is a new beginning. There's a lot of optimism and increased perception around here. Very energetic, you're going to be, quite individualistic, brilliant, daring, and you will be, as I say, expressive in love and also in anger. But you'll also be enthusiastic about things as well. Now, this is really a person, I think, who is confident, daring, exciting, maybe even a nonconformist, really, freedom-loving and ambitious. But look, people are going to love your character and energy during this time. But, as I say, and I don't make any judgment on this, but you could be vengeful, temperamental, unruly, shallow, or cruel. This card, I think, also means that you have conquered old fears and patterns of thought. You've brought to the surface and conquered them, although I think it's fair to say that you've often learned things the hard way, don't you think? Well, what's the next step in your life? Find it fearlessly. Learn about ways of transforming fearful feelings. Get involved in dance or trance work or something. And say to yourself also that, your old fears have lost their power over you. Their dead remains cannot frighten you any longer. And reflect now on your greatest strengths. And while you're doing that, say, as I accept my fear, it is transformed into love. Now, I've got this has got Pisces energy all over it, this card. Also Aries, I think, is interesting here. What is it, by the way? I just got that energy from it. Okay, it's the Queen of Staves. Let's see. Now, who would this be? Swaha. Swaha is the wife of Agni, the Vedic god of fire. Now, no offering to the sacred flame is considered acceptable unless purified by uttering her name. Look, this is, talking about the sacred fire, this is the suit of fire, by the way. So it's not probably an accident that this image is here. So there's been an ancient chant that's been ringing out for thousands of years, which is, into the sacred fire we offer this for Agni and not for ourselves. The fire sacrifice, or yagna, is central to Hindu ritual practices, and Swaha is central to its working out. Okay. She's regarded as a personification of the supreme Shakti, the feminine energizing principle in the universe. Now, since Agni is held to be a form of energizing principle of the universe himself, and is also held to be a form of Shiva, Lord of Shakti, this otherwise abstract word goddess became a tangible, engaging presence to the sacrificer. Even one sacrifice without uttering Swaha renders the entire yagna, or sacrifice, devoid of any goodness. Esoterically, Swaha is the power that enables Agni to digest and assimilate the offerings in yagna, in those sacrifices. This, and this alone, is the food of the gods and strengthens them to uphold cosmic order and hand out karmic retribution. Now, in that sense, the harmonious continuation of the material created universe really is dependent upon the power of Swaha. And that's a great power that you have within you, as I say, because this is a woman. Now, I'll call it a woman, but the same comment before about genders goes, is a woman who is adaptable, has a persistent energy and a calm authority. Great powers of attraction at the moment. People are going to find you very, very attractive. So do with that what you will. Now, you can be generous, I think, during this time, but I can also see you being quite intolerant and impatient with opposition. Now, you will have an immense capacity for friendship and love, but it's almost as if it's going to be at your initiative. You're not going to let anybody in. You're going to vet who gets to come inside. Now, I don't mean any disrespect by this, but in some respects, there's almost like a self-complacent vanity or even a snobbery about you. Well, that's not surprising. I mean, the Piscean women are gorgeous and the Piscean men are known to be handsome and attractive, so I suppose you can count yourself among the elite. But this is someone here who can brood and come to a wrong decision as a result and react with some savagery. She can also be quick to take offense and harbor revenge without good cause. Now, she can have an attack of the blues, which she can try to overcome with the booze. And she can often be seen to throw out panic-stricken outbursts of ill-considered fury. You'll be in the process of self-discovery and remembering your power. You've got to where you are by resolving difficulties in the past, and now you are a stronger character. It's time to express your natural power and beauty and move on from the past. You'll know what you'll want. You'll have an active life, and you'll be creating a very powerful first impression. How can you share what you found for yourself with others? Say this to yourself. I am a radiant being filled with light and love. Now, I think that takes us finally to this card here. This is the King of Arrows. Hello, King of Arrows. What do you have to say? Well, I'll tell you who this is. This is Garuda. Now, Garuda and this monkey-headed god called Hanuman, well, together they're the strongest of the strong powers in the universe. However, both these great beings have dedicated their lives to service instead of using their powers to rule over the cosmos. Now, Hanuman's reward is that he will preside over the next cycle of creation. Now, Garuda's reward is immortality and a stature that is literally above Vishnu. Now, Garuda's strength is so constituted that one single feather of his wings can hold up a planet. Behind the titanic roaring of his wings can be heard the eternal hymns of the Vedas. His unblinking eyes denote his conquest of sleep, and his infallible gaze penetrates all. His aura blazes like the fires of cosmic destruction. Now, repeating his name 3 times keeps snakes away at night, and it is said that he eats snakes. And now, a great degree of Taurus and Gemini around here, because I've got this feeling that you're going to have the energy of the mind in Gemini with the influence and the stability and the determination of Taurus. So you'll be someone, I think, who is active, clever, skillful, fierce and courageous, but possibly unreflective. And remember, there's a great degree of vehemence around this card as well for some reason. And I was getting that feeling before, wasn't I, that you may be, well, quite temperamental at times. Nevertheless, you'll be very goal-oriented and your intellectual powers will be just soaring. He kind of represents the idea of attack, of the violent power of, with these wings of motion applied. He is the wind, the storm. And his moral qualities are skill, subtlety, and cleverness. He's fierce, delicate, courageous. But he might be altogether consumed by his current idea, which comes to him by way of inspiration and without any particular considered thought. Nevertheless, say, I know my goal and I know what I'm working towards. Each goal is just a milestone on the way to my ultimate destination. What a great set of cards for you. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, thanks for joining me. It's been really great to see you, and I loved sitting down with you and doing that reading for you. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed providing it to you. And isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting, all that stuff? Well, remember one thing, of course, and that is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.